Alright guys, time to go back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News and a chaotic day on the timeline last night. A very dramatic affair at the Champions yesterday, especially this first series we are going to discuss. Vivokeed versus Ascend. A forfeit comes through. Everyone seems to have an opinion on this one. Very controversial situation. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting that like button is the best thing you can do. Tell this channel to reach new people. Please consider subscribing as well if you have not yet already. Let's talk about this series then, because it was a very chaotic one. At the time, it was very interesting, it was very entertaining, but after the fact, it got even more interesting. So Vivokeed versus Ascend, they play up on Icebox first of all. Vivokeed win this one to go up 1-0 in the series. It then goes to game 2 on Bind, and Ascend managed to bounce back in this one and win this one relatively comfortable in the end. I mean, they had a good advantage early on, and they close this one out to take it all the way to a game 3 on Breeze. Now, Breeze goes the way of Vivokeed. So anyway, at the end of the day, it was really exciting, frankly, to see the Brazilian region, the other regions as well, really taking it to some of the favourites of this tournament and some of the, the bigger regions, right? Some people were certainly suggesting that, should some of these regions, the more minor regions at Champions, even get the opportunity to be here, like how many teams should they have from those regions? These regions are certainly showing they do very much deserve to be here. The Brazilian teams so far have been looking very strong indeed. Fury, of course, and, well, here as well, and Team Vikings, of course, as well, and Vivokeed no exception, especially with Muzera making clutches like this happen here on Breeze. They're down 3-2 at this point. I mean, this play from Muzera is just absolutely fantastic. The defuse is coming through from CNED, and I mean, yeah, 1, 2, 3, clicks them all down, and well, gets the job done here in the end. Now, Vivokeed go on to win this map, but that was certainly not the end of the story here. So, okay, they look like they're advancing. Ascend are going to have to go down to the kind of lower bracket in that GSL style group format. We'll have a look at here in just a second. And then this was noticed here on the Reddit. So, this was a spot, a Cypher Cam that was used in the game, as you can see. Now, this Cypher Cam is put in a particular position. I don't know all that much about it, but apparently this is effectively a texture bug. You can kind of throw it somewhere where it really can't be seen, but I mean, obviously you get a great view here of the bomb sites. It's very difficult to destroy it, and this in previous tournaments a couple of times before has resulted in a forfeit for the team that has been using this. At the same time though, this glitch has been in the game, I believe, since June sometime, like a very long time ago, and for some reason has not been fixed. So a lot of controversy about this, and understandably so. Vivokeed used this spot in about 6 rounds for Cypher's Cam to see exactly what's going on here in the game, and I mean, as a result, they get forfeited all of those 6 rounds we will look at here. But of course, the initial reaction was not known like that. This only happened after all the games on the day concluded. This was spotted on stream, and okay, people started to talk about this, right? As Baby J says, shameless, every Cypher player knows not to use this. So he's not happy with these guys using it, but he's thinking, okay, is anything actually going to happen as a result of this? Maybe, maybe not, right? And certainly people have their opinions on that one. I'm sure you guys will down below. So as upcomers say, look, seemingly they used an illegal Cypher camera position during the match against Ascend today. Riot has yet to issue a statement about the play. They go on to issue that statement, as they say right here. For some reason, when I click on this link, it doesn't actually take me anywhere. But this is what was described here in the article. The 6 rounds where the camera exploit was used will be forfeited by the team and granted to Team Ascend, resulting in an adjusted score of Ascend 12, Vivokeed 9. To account for the economic impact of the 6 rounds forfeited subsequent rounds as a result of this, Ascend will be awarded an additional 1 round, and therefore the final score is 13-9. So GG, Ascend take the map, and as Heat says, from that side of things, we didn't have our right to speak our points or have a conversation about fair play with the other team, but that's what life goes on. Being Brazilian is difficult, but I trust my team. Good night. As J-House says, decision has already been made. It's indisputable, guys. I apologize for the hesitation. It really wasn't the intention, and we would win the series even with the camera in our pocket, but rules are rules, and our plan to win every confrontation has not changed yet. Let's rate one game at a time. So, remarkable situation. They get forfeited this final map without really having the ability to talk with it through the other team and talk to Ascend and say, do we want to replay it? What do we want to do? Right, just come out and say, yeah, you're actually just going to straight up forfeit this map as a result of using this exploit. Now, understandably, there's a lot of controversy about this, right? Because some people would say, look, they should have just fixed this glitch in the game. As Don Hassey says, maybe just fix the bugs in the game like this, that, before the biggest event the game has ever had, right? And people have used this before as well. Has not been fixed, this kind of texture bug in the game. This also was pointed out, the fact that back in, a few months ago now, there has been a couple of other teams forfeited as a result of this. For example, Giants, I believe, got a ban for a similar thing. They forfeited the map as a result of using this as well. So I guess Vivokeed, that those guys should have known better, as as was talked about there from Baby J, right? Just don't use this spot and it should be okay. But the decision certainly is understandably controversial, especially because of the situation that went down yesterday with Sentinels, right? Where they kind of were up against Furia, and the Furia guys were kind of being investigated for using an exploit on Haven, where you can kind of jump on top of the C box, and whether that's an exploit or not, Tens was like, yeah, that's definitely not an exploit, but that got investigated for 15-20 minutes. They were sitting there investigating investigating that situation. And during the game here, nothing happened at all. It's only after the fact that Vivo Kid get forfeited the series. So that is the worst rule enforcement I've ever seen. Wow, says Asuna. And a lot of people certainly and understandably maybe agree with this one. As Ye says, to be fair, the ruling seemed really harsh for Vivo Kid. To me, it just kind of seemed like instead of replaying, like they just forfeited them to avoid the hassle and the schedule changes. Like, that's what they could have done, right? Just say, look, replay the map without the kind of, don't use the glitch or whatever, just replay the game. And maybe the guys on SM would have actually agreed to that, right? And said, look, okay, fair enough. Like, let's just go again. Let's start from scratch. And if you guys win, fair square. But, of course, as Ye saying, look, maybe the schedule changes would have caused a bit of a nightmare in that sense. So they decided, okay, let's just not bother. Let's just straight up forfeit them from the game. As Dapper says, because some people were saying Dapper uses a very similar thing here, but apparently he uses a slightly different spot, which isn't quite covered under this kind of texture glitch situation that is technically, well, apparently it's not actually on the list of bad glitches. But I think it's generally considered that if you use this, you're probably going to catch some sort of forfeit for those rounds. And this is what Dapper continues on to say. This is also what Vanity says. So they tech pause for someone jumping top site on Haven, but not for this camera situation, right? So definitely very intrigued Vanity is on this situation. And as Zeke says, from Ascend after winning the series, didn't deserve the win, but it's not our decision to make. Really big F up for the referees to not address it during the game. Turning off my DMs, right? Because, you know how things go in these situations. So anyway, like kind of crazy, frankly, from Zeke in the situation. Like maybe they would have been quite happy to replay the Lions map if that was the case, but right to say, no, you're getting forfeited Vivo Keys and you're out of there. But, they're not, of course, out of it yet, but definitely a very surprising series result at the end of the day. This did used to say 1-2 to Keydstars, of course. Not the case anymore. It's now 2-1. Icebox goes their way 39, 13-3 here on Bind. It was relatively comfortable. And this final map, all the stats are irrelevant because it's 39 Ascends. So the kind of remarkable situation. But yes, the forfeit comes through and that puts Vivo Keyed in a very difficult position. They, of course, still can make it out. Like, it wouldn't be past them to face up against Ascend once again, right? Later on in this bracket, there's some spicy storylines still to come. But, let's talk about the other series on the day. Fnatic versus Vision Strikers. We discussed yesterday, right? And every time I talk about this, that's where it comes true. There was an article that came out from one of the guys over on Vision Strikers saying, yes, we're the best team here. No one's going to touch us. Like, we're certainly the best squad at Champions. They come up against Fnatic and they lose the series. Game one, it was back and forth affair the first couple of maps. Then on this final map here on Fracture, it was, it's Fnatic that win it relatively comfortably in the end. Very, good stuff from them really, like getting to grips with this new map relatively early on. Vision Strikers do the kind of swap thing that they like to do on some of these maps right here. Durka's just such a monster, to be honest. Like, his stats were insane this entire series. Average combat score as well. Icebox went 13-10 to Fnatic. Then, Haven bounced back for the Vision Strikers. And then Fracture was pretty comfortable 13-6 at the end of the day. And Durka and co. So, it's Fnatic that move on at the first team confirmed through to the playoffs officially. That's pretty impressive from them. And then Envy, they also started off their campaign yesterday. One of the other North American teams that's certainly considered to be one of the more, the scariest forces here in this tournament so far. They play up against X10. And this again was a relatively comfortable series. They finished off 2-0. Map 1, as you can see, the stats here, everyone going positive on the side of Envy. And Breeze was 13-8. And then Ascend goes 13-7. At the end of the day, relatively comfortable over X10 crit. And they of course still have a chance in the tournament, but it is not going to be so easy for them going forwards. This then is how the group stages lay out. So remarkable situation, of course, with Ascend getting that victory over Vivo Keyd, which obviously, as you guys I'm sure can tell, very controversial. People always have different opinions on stuff like this. So Keydstars not out of it yet though. They still have an opportunity. They play up against X10 crit here in elimination. If they play like they did against Ascend, they've got a great chance. And to be fair, Envy could well beat Ascend, drop Ascend back down to losers brackets, and we get a rematch of this opening game. That would be very spicy indeed. Group B, this is how things are going. Things are kicking off here today. The winners' games are going to continue. So we've got one team confirmed already in Fnatic. Today we're going to decide, I'm pretty sure, 2 more teams that are going to be confirmed to qualify for the playoffs. Team Liquid versus Sentinels is one of them. Gamma Esports versus Team Vikings is another one. And then we've got to figure out some of the stuff going down here in the lower side as well. But Fnatic are officially qualified into the playoffs. This is how the groups are going. And this is the schedule then for today. So Gamma versus Team Vikings, Ascend versus Envy, Liquid versus Sentinels. So actually, yes, these are all qualification matches for the playoffs. So 3 teams today are going to be confirmed into the playoffs. And if it's not Ascend, then that Ascend versus Vivo Kid rematch is very possible. But also Liquid versus Sentinels, that could be a potential banger on the cards for the final match of the day. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit that like button. Tells the YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.